California. I'm Ann Elizabeth. I'm one of the moderators here at Flip It Red, where our goal is to flip as many seats from blue to red as possible. Today we are speaking with Tito Ortiz from UFC. He is a Hall of Famer and one of the best fighters the UFC has ever seen.
I don't know ever seen, because there's John Jones, probably one of the best ever, but I'm a hard-working American, a patriot that's giving back to my country, and now I'm ready to give back to my city, because they've given so much to me over 22-year career.
So Tito was born and raised in Huntington Beach, California. He even attended college here, and he is now running for city council in Huntington Beach. So Tito, in your own words, why are you running for city council?
So, I've really just been doing a lot of research of here in the city. Back in 93, 94, 95, we're the safest city in America. Now we are 90th in our state. And it's a lot of people who come from inland that come here and try to start trouble, longest fights. I mean, it could be just the smallest thing to someone getting shot and killed. I mean, small things. That doesn't happen a lot, but still, from being number one in the country to now being 90th in our state, I have to step up. I have to start fighting for our community, and it's very important. I have 3 boys. I have an 18-year-old. I have twin 11-year-olds, and it's really, really important to make sure that their future is safe, my community's safe, and I'm a fighter. I'm a guy who's came from nothing, and I've been able to achieve everything in this life right now, so I'm going to keep working on it.
On your issues tab on your website, can you tell everyone your website?
Website is Tito, FORHBCC.com.
On your issues tab, you talk a lot about small business, and there are a lot of regulations right now on businesses in California, and it makes owning companies almost impossible to build that American dream. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think as being a person myself, a believer in fighting for the American dream, I went from, living in motels as a kid. My parents didn't want to be adults. And my mother had to separate my father when I was 13 years old, and she gave me a second chance at life. I got into wrestling in high school, and I just wanted to work hard. I wanted to work with kids as a special education teacher and a wrestling coach, and I did that at Marina High School. And I just want to work hard. I want to show that the American dream is still alive. And a lot of people don't believe it is, but I think Donald Trump has been the American dream through his life, and people want to live that. So it just becomes of hard work, dedication, keeping your word, being honest, and never step on anybody, get ahead. And that's the difference in life, I think.
You attended public school, and I was actually really surprised to hear that your kids attend public school. And school choice is a big controversy here in California.
Yeah, school choice is very important. I heard Donald Trump speak out and saying, well, if the schools aren't going to open, let's take that money, let's give it to the parents and let them go to private school. My kids went to private school when they're in kindergarten, but I wanted them to be amongst their peers who they hang out with on everyday life. And it's important. Now that schools are closed and they do have a Zoom, it's hard. I couldn't even imagine keeping a child's attention on a computer if it's not a video game. To try to teach somebody or try to teach a child, it's hard to do. It's very hard to do. I mean, coming from a physical education major and my minor in special education teaching, that being a teacher, they need to do their job. This COVID-19 is not affecting any children. I think there's been maybe 1 death, and that was in Georgia, and it was a kid that was 1 year old, and he had underlying issues. But let's open this state up again. It's very important. I think Gavin Newsom needs to do his job and think about the future of our state. We have a lot of work to do, but our children are the ones that's going to be our future. I have 3 boys, twin 11-year-olds, an 18-year-old. My 18-year-old, he's finished his last year as a senior, but my twin 11-year-olds, they're like, Dad, we don't like the Zoom stuff. We miss our friends. We miss going and hanging out with them. We miss being in school, just having conversation, normal conversation. And that's what American has been built about. The Americans here that have fought this, they have their differences, and there's bullying in school. Those are problems that do happen, but that's life. That's what makes a kid stronger, have a stronger backbone, to have a stronger mind, and have a stronger mentality of working hard in everyday life. When you turn 18, you come to realize that life is not that easy, because I had to figure it out myself, and I had to take action and responsibility for my actions. I I ended up putting myself in junior college. I went to Golden West Junior College. I got my AA degree. I went to Cal State Bakersfield, going to get my BA. But me and the coach didn't see eye to eye, and I found into mixed martial arts, Ultimate Fighting Championship, and a year and a half later, I became the world champion, and I've been competing now for 23 years. So here's another step that I just want to put in my world of I'm not a politician. I'm an American. I'm part of the people, from the people, for the people of this city of Huntington Beach, for city council member. And I'm going to throw my hat into the mix. And I'm not just going to win by a couple votes. I'm going to win by landslide because I know people believe in me. Let's turn California red again, and it's very, very important.
Absolutely. Can we talk about Second Amendment rights? Because I feel like in California, Second Amendment rights are being stripped. It seems like every time we wake up, there's another regulation on gun ownership. So,
well, I think gun ownership, you got to do the research on the people who are buying the guns. Not everyone should be able to buy a gun. A felon should not be able to buy a gun. You got to do the research. Just as people coming into this country, you got to do their background checks, and it's very, very important. I'm a gun owner myself, and for the first time, I actually had to bust out my guns out of my safe and put them out through my home. I told my boys, I'm putting this here, I'm putting this there, just for safety for my house. Living here in Huntington Beach, I should never have to worry about that. But when all of a sudden, when Black Lives Matter and Antifa come here in Huntington Beach saying they're going to burn our city down, ain't going to happen on my watch. No way. And it's really important. And yes, all lives matter. Brown, yellow, black, it don't matter. We're all Americans. You're Americans in this country. We got to be respectful towards each other. And I think Black Lives Matter has been hijacked by the left. And I look and I watch and I do my research. I educate myself on it. I'm not blind. This will be the second time as being a Republican, but I think Democrats, Republicans really don't matter. Let's just be Americans, and it's very important.
I agree. Can we talk about what happened when Black Lives Matter came to Huntington Beach?
Yeah, so they came the first time, I believe it was May 29th. They came down here and they had their protests, and I believe in the First Amendment. That's our right as Americans. They came down here and they walked downtown and they started a few fights. A few people got busted up. And then on Monday, which was the 2 days following, the police did their job here and they said, we didn't do our job right. We're going to come back and we're going to burn this thing down. Ain't happening here. No possible way. I called 30 of my friends, 4 of my special force friends. We stood here in front of Huntington Surface Sport from 9:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. I stood on my feet, no restroom break, no food break. I drank water and I sat there with a bulletproof vest on to make sure that nothing happened. There's a few occasions that I did have to stop some guys that were just in conflict with another protester, and they had my shirt on. I told the police officers that there will be a group of us wearing HB Strong shirts, and we're going to protect the city. And I go, if they try to trash the city, we're allowed to wrap them up and hand them off to you. Said 100%. So we did that, and I did that, and I stood my ground, and it was a long, long, long day. And I have complete respect for the police officers that do defend our city of Huntington Beach, our county of Orange County. It just, it matters. And Santa Ana got burnt down. Long Beach got burnt down. LA's been burnt down. Huntington Beach was not being burnt down because us as community, we came together and we stood our ground. And it's not against protesters. We just stood to make sure that our city didn't get burnt down, plain and simple.
So we have to talk about homeless because we're in a
number
beach.
2 on my deal that's really, really important, the homeless situation. At Edison High School, right across the street at the community there, you see homeless just really taking over just the community center. And for our kids and the community, the kids of the parents of the kids in Edison area, it just really took me, it just surprised me of how bad the park was. It was just ran down, the maintenance of it. You see needles on the ground. It was just like, I don't want Orange County turning into San Francisco. And I went to San Francisco State to wrestle against their school back when I was in junior college in 96, and it was a beautiful town. We went downtown, we went to dinners, we had lunch. It was beautiful, it was clean, it was beautiful. I went back in 2014 and it was horrible. It was horrible. It was just you just smell the needles everywhere. I don't want Huntington Beach to turn into that. So that's one of my biggest things I want to fight for. If we need to put a roof over their head, it's important. If we have a bed for them, that's important. But they got to stay there, they're willing to get help. And once they get help and recovery, then they can hopefully continue to live the American dream, and it's very important. If they need help, they do need help, great, but let's give the opportunity to give them help. If they don't want help, they need to find another city to go to.
You are a child of immigrants who came here.
Yes.
And
I'm 5th generation.
All right.
So my family was here. Actually, my grandmother just passed away. She was 102, and she was born in Arizona. I know she lived a long life, and I'm thankful for the long life she did, because she was able to get my father a roof over his head. And me and my father, we have our differences because he didn't want to be a responsible parent, and I want to be a responsible parent for my kids. But immigrants that do come here into the United States, they want to live the American dream, and they got to do it by laws. They got to follow those laws, because that's what our country is built on, is upon laws. They get away from their countries because of the corrupt government. Well, here in this government under Trump, we're going to do the right thing, and it's very, very important, and that's why I back Donald Trump myself.
You honestly are a true patriot. I've seen that you are a USO ambassador, traveled to Iraq to give soldiers moral support. How many times?
I've been to Iraq 6 times, but I've traveled the United States, visiting all the bases, Fort Benning, Fort Myer. I mean, I've been to all of them. I have some really close relationships with a lot of Special Force guys that are really good friends of mine that actually were the ones who got rid of Soleimani and got like 4 or 5 of these disgusting people that are part of ISIS. And I built some great relationships, but to go over to Iraq the times that I did from 2005 to 2011, I really got a point to see the young grunts in the front that are fighting on the front lines for our country. And it's important, I want to make sure that our country's safe. It's nice to live in this country and not have to look over our shoulder, not have to worry about a pipe bomb or have to worry about any IEDs, because that's what they have to deal with there in Iraq or in Kuwait or in Afghanistan. And a lot of these kids who go to war, they just want to get away from where they're at. Or there's other ones that want to do it for our country, and that's very, very important, because that's what patriotism about, is fight for this country that we live in. It's a great country. It's a beautiful country. And I'm starting at the grass levels here in Huntington Beach. And, give me 20 years, give me 30 years to understand.
That was one of my questions.
Give me some time. So I understand the politician side of it, because once again, I am not a politician. I'm a patriot that cares about my city, cares about my state, and cares about my country. And I'm going to help turn this state red. And we're starting this year, 2020. We're going to make it happen.
That's great. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, I just, people who have followed me on my social media at Tito Ortiz 1999, and you got to punch it all in, Tito Ortiz 1999, to find me, because they're shadow banning me. Yeah. They don't like the truth to be told. The CDC's numbers of the COVID, all of a sudden it went from 187,000 down to 9,700. That's horrible. That's very, very horrible. So many kids, so many companies that are here in Huntington Beach, small businesses are being shut down because of this. Stuff like this never really happened back when we had the H1N1. Why all of a sudden we're doing for this? It shows that this is a political scam. This is a pandemic that they said in 2014 that in 2020, you guys better watch out, because there's going to be a disease that comes about for the public. And it's happened, so it is a pandemic. And this is my opinion, and I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings. And yes, there is lives that has been lost, and I'm sorry for each one of those families. But in the whole genuine behind this is, as us Americans, we need to come together and be educated on it. Don't believe what people tell you, research what people tell you.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. Our community is really excited that we got to speak with you. To learn more about Tito, please go to his website. Please say your website
Yes,
again.
Tito, that's Tito, FORHBCC.com.
Great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Pleasure. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Yes, of course.
Bye-bye.
HB, I won't let you down, I promise.